So, last week, we talked about bringing everything to the light, bringing everything to God. Remember a bit of that? And that was our closing, it was our last service at the previous location. But it was about bring everything to the light. So I want to clarify just a thing or two on that. Bring everything to the light means bringing everything to God. Now, I don't care what you call God, spirit, the universe, etc., etc., etc. The more you really understand that God is a divine feeling, the better off you'll be. Not to make it a person, a thing. Even I say Father, Mother, God, but I actually don't think that it's a male and a female. It's just, for human understanding. But the idea, the light of God, bring everything to God, bring everything to the light of God. God is a divine feeling that you and I can have, right? We can have that feeling. So that means God is accessible to us. So if we say bring everything to the light, it means bring everything to God. If we say bring it to God, it means to the light of God. But also, if we bring everything to the light and God is the light and God is a divine feeling, then technically it also means bring everything to your divine feeling. So when you're stressed, bring in joy. Bring stress to joy and it dissipates. See, some human beings still inadvertently think, I can't wait till eventually I get to that place of joy. I can't wait till I one day feel peace. Can't wait. But why wait? What do you mean can't wait? Then go now. Well, how do I get there? I guess I got to work on this and I got to process that. No, actually you don't. Bring things to a divine feeling. Here's where the problem lies. The problem lies in that people don't have enough of a divine feeling to bring things to. Okay? They don't have enough of that presence. So humans still superstitiously bring things to a thing up in the sky. And we know that's not the most evolved way, but I understand why people still have to go there. They still go there because they don't know how to do it any other way. To their knees, they say, oh, this really brought me to my knees. That's good. And some people even bow their forehead to the ground. But what does it all mean? It means the ego self down, boy. Down, boy. Sit. Yeah, but, shh, sit. No. Relax, sit, lay down, and just submit. Oh, okay, fine. Like we're all monks and nuns again. Submitting to some power in the sky. Submitting means what the same things Krishna tried to explain, the same things even Muhammad explained, that nobody gets. That the battle, the fight is against yourself. Buddhism, Islam, mystical Christianity, Hinduism, they all understand this. They don't all say it, but they understand it. And the understanding is the battle is with ourselves. So when we say bow or humble yourself before the Lord, it doesn't mean just, well, because I'm nothing, I'm going to bow before the infinite in the sky. This is what's ironic to me. When you bow to that power up in the sky somewhere, you're actually bowing to something that's lesser than you. Because the sky was made by you. We co-created the universe. Stop praying to Jupiter. You made Jupiter. The power is within us. It's just a matter of recollecting. It's a matter of recalling it. But it's not an accident people forget. People forget this because they don't want to remember. There's a saying, we're more afraid of our light than of our darkness. And it's true. It's really true. And people go, no, I'm not afraid of my... People are afraid of their light. And if you say you're not, then when you pray, remember, the God I am presence is within us. So when I say bring everything to God, yes, it's fine to humbly, literally to your knees, your forehead to the ground. It's fine to say, oh Lord, I'm undeserving. Say what you want, feel what you want. That's where you're at right now. But I'm saying that at the deeper level, when we say we're bringing things to God, I think it's beautiful. that what it means is I'm bringing things to God and my real self. I'm bringing my fears to my trust. I'm bringing my doubts to my faith, God within me. If you can't say my such and such, then you're still keeping God secondary or separate from you. Imagine being able to say, I'm bringing this to God that I am. When I say I am God, I don't mean literally in every moment this human person is completely consciously aware of its divine self. But it is right for me to affirm that there's a part of me that is. And that's where I want to go a bit today, a little further into this. So I'm sure you've heard me, if you've heard me, through several talks, you will have heard me reference chakras, except not the standard way. People go, oh, chakras, oh, I love chakras. Like it's ice cream, flavors. I want my purple chakra. And people do this, and this chakra and that. Some people shame certain chakras. How many people do you see at a psychic fair, when they used to have those, walking around going, check out, I had an aura photo. Absolutely red. Ruby red. Nobody walks around showing their red chakra or the, red aura to people. They wait, it's got to be purple or white. Look at, the aura person said, I'm next to ascension right now. I'm so holy. I mean, you know what? The aura lady was bowing to me because of my, people don't go red. And I've always said this, people are all excited about auras and chakras. I think it's great, but they're ashamed of certain ones of those. They don't go, I went to get my aura photo and they said, I'm really root chakra. You don't do that at a psychic fair. But purple, gold, look, oh, it's got golden striations. They said this little sparkle, that's an archangel. It's all stuff that feels really great. And I think it's great because it might mean you have some good religious devotion, but it also means you're a terrible date. Look, purple, oh, I'm looking for somebody else. Anybody go with a red? Anybody got a red shot? Or, that's a good date. But ultimately, my advice would be to be fully present. All your chakras. How could the Christ in you go, oh, no, only the crown, please. It doesn't make sense to me. The God I am is fully lit. All chakras, all layers of my aura, all the cranial nerves in my head, obeying, as they say in the book of Revelation, giving praise to God. All of those parts of my being. My hands. Christ before me, Christ to my right, my left, above, below. Christ inside, Christ outside. I am that I am. I'm glowing. I feel so alive. Every cell is submitting in a good way. Every cell is going, you know what? This person is having such a party. I want to be part of this. And they go, woo! Every cell just bursts into light. That's what ascension means. It's not when a moron tries to go somewhere beyond its capacity. Like some guy that acts like a jerk every day and then goes, but I read a certain book, so I get to ascend. You don't get to act like a jerk and ascend. If the cells of your being cannot feel this irresistible explosion of love and light, mostly coming through forgiveness, by the way. But that's what happens. The cells burst. When Jesus' being was buried in a cloth, and he said, oh, okay, ready now. And he decided to let the last vestiges of his perception as a human being go. All of his cells burst into light, and it created a photographic image on the shroud. It's not about the photographic image on the shroud. What did it take for that to happen? It took excitement. It took absolute, unwavering, I'm letting go and letting every cell of my being burst with joy. So joy left that photographic image. True joy. That doesn't happen with us being conflicted, with us being regretful, with us being jerks, like I call it, at times. You can't be rude. Get the hell away from me. I'm trying to ascend. It doesn't make any sense. Or blaming. I would have ascended by now if you hadn't been in my life. Just respond to people like that saying, I was your test. If you didn't ascend, you didn't like me enough. Raise the volume. And if not, I'll push your buttons more. So if you're that close, go for it. But just imagine putting it in the context that your cells of your being are happy. They're happy to be in the love of God. And it just bursts. Probably everybody in this kind of a program has had at least one time where you were that close. It could have been a blissful meditation. It could have been, you paid something forward and you changed somebody's life. And it just, melted your heart. Those moments are the near ascension moments. Those are more effective to getting us to that near ascension level of consciousness than so-called meditations, where the only good time you had was with yourself. Wow, I'm having an amazing meditation. God, I'm just wonderful. That's nice. Don't get me wrong. That's nice. That builds fuel. But you're nothing until that fuel ignites into being a good person, into being of service. How can I help today? How can I make a difference today? That's where ascension's happening. People keep thinking it's about going to the hilltops and ships coming to get you. If you can't be nice down here in the valley, the ships don't want you. Not the ones that you would want to want you, let's put it that way. There are some ships that would really like you if not a nice person. Anyway, so it's this concept of, God, I just feel such a presence. Such a presence. I can't not smile. I can't not sing. You just feel such a presence. Something's happening. And what's nice is it's like they say to Jesus when he comes into Jerusalem. The people are just responding with praise and something wonderful's happening. That's what they were saying. Hosanna on that, they're praising and God's with us, God's presence. God's present, we can feel it. And the Pharisees, hey, Jesus of Nazareth, shut these people up. That's what they said. That's the mind. That's your doubts that make you want to shut down singing. It's also your parents, if they do that. It's your government, if they do that. It's when you feel good and people say,
too much.
Don't feel too good. Some of us have been raised by parents that you knew, don't act too happy. That's really a disturbed kind of parent that wants to shut down kids' happiness. I remember one time I was moving to the Pacific Northwest. And I was looking at a few different houses that I might buy, and all that. And a realtor took me maybe to 5, let's say. And there was one. I went, this is the one. This is the one I want. Well, why? The other one's actually newer. But this is how my simplistic mind works, mind you. To me, it wasn't, this one's 10 years old, newer. This one's better deal, etc. The motivated sellers. The one I picked was just for this reason. I was walking around looking at the place, and I was probably, late 20s or something. And I was walking around looking at the place, and I heard something. And I could feel that quickening. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And it was the sound of a playground of a school across the street. And some people are like, you don't want to be moving near a school. I did. When I heard happy kids, that to me was good stuff. See, so to me, and it's the same when I was early 20s, maybe 20-ish, I was an assistant teacher in a preschool and in an elementary school as well. God, it was amazing. I didn't want to go to work. I mostly worked in the middle of the day. So they asked, Michael, could you kind of oversee recesses and the playground and lunch and all that? Yes. It's where they get to be the happiest. But if I had to bring things from the mailroom over to a classroom, the kids always like ran over. Mr. Mike! Mr. Mike! They'd come over and, and I'd hold a few of them up on an arm and do different things, I'd pin an arm on a wall like this straight to see how many of them could dangle from it, No, they're just all hanging, kicking their feet. It was always happy. But once in a while, teacher, don't get too close to the kids, don't, the kids are, just this weird vibe that I would get from them sometimes. The kids are getting too attached. The kids are talking about you in the class they're supposed to be studying. Well, then give them something to talk about that's different, that's related to this study. Make things fun. Every day, I just never thought, oh, bummer, I got to go to have fun. It never made sense to me to have a bummer kind of a feeling about that. So that's just in my list of many issues with humans. But anyway, why is it a problem to be happy? They told Jesus, shut these people up. You know what Jesus said? If I told the people to be silent, the rocks would sing. Do you get what that means? The vibes are so high that if the people held their mouths shut, their bones would burst with joy. Their bones, because the bones are the body's version of minerals. The bones would burst. The rocks outside would burst. The mountains would burst open volcanic-like, but with joy. The trees would start blooming even if they weren't flowering trees. Everything comes to life. Everything can be like that. Everything can be happy and joyous. If you go and, I'm going to make dinner, I have to, you get to. You can also fast. So don't tell me I have to make dinner. You get to. What do you mean? I don't see it as I get to. Then fast. Fast long enough. See how many days you can fast, and eventually you're going to go, I get to have food today. That's when you want to eat. When you can let go of I have to go to work. Don't. Well, that's the only way I can get paid. Then you get to go to work, and you get to get paid. There's a different way of living in this world. There's a different way of experiencing everything. I'm not perfect at it all the time, but I feel pretty good most of the time. I get to do whatever I get to do, whatever that happens to be. Now, chakras. Symbolically speaking, we have 7 primary chakras. The lower 3 chakras represent my human self. The upper 3 chakras represent the divine self. The heart center is the middle, the chooser. That's the soul. My soul is constantly choosing between the light of God and the darkness of this world. Now, it sounds like I made them contrasted. The light of God versus this world. No, that's the way we made this world, to be a downer. We made this, and if you say, I don't believe the world's a downer, turn on the news. This world is a downer. Every show, even the shows that people are perky, guest actresses on the couch. So tell them how this is. Well, ever since I started using this, I look 20 years younger. Everything is still a problem. People want to look better, feel better. Even the happy shows are still about problems, aging, death. And they look like they're giving you something. Here's a pill that'll help you. Are you human? They ask you questions that, somebody's got this. Have you ever had doubt? This pill will prevent that from happening. Like, some of them just listen to the descriptions. Do you have limbs? You may have limbs disease and not know it. You know what I mean? They make stuff up to sell you something. But that's what Buddha said. The world makes you think there's something wrong with you, and then it can remedy it. When it doesn't, you will crash. So he says this world is a place of suffering. And that's his point right there. So what do? Choose a different thing to fix the suffering? No. The only way to have the perfect health, wholeness, is called immunity. And immunity, I don't just mean a better immune system. I mean, stop believing that you're flawed, and then they won't sell you something to fix you. It's really kind of simple. Now, chakras. Again, chakras. there's these three sets. My I am divine chakras, the chooser, the soul, and the human self. The lower three chakras, the physical, emotional, and intellectual parts of my being as a human. The heart is constantly choosing. Choose whom ye will serve, as the Bible puts it. Choose, that's the chooser. This is the knower. The I am. The heart is the chooser. The lower three chakras, my mental, intellectual, my emotional, and my physical self is nothing but the response of what I chose. I can choose to be in alignment with the I am, or I can choose to not be in alignment. It's kind of like in music, chords that are harmonious and then there's discordant. Are discordant bad? No, they're just not harmonious. So if I'm thinking inharmonious thoughts, my body, physical, emotional, intellectual self will reflect it. On some level, it's going to show it. Now that said, picture this. Picture, what if the upper three centers, picture like all the people around us, picture this. All the people you walk down the street and so on, we all look like we're separated beings. What if there's a bubble of sorts that encompasses my upper three chakras, but that bubble goes outward and connects everybody else's? What if from the throat center up, we're all connected? Picture this for a second. Up here up, we're all connected. This is dipped down in the human self, the lower four chakras. The human ones and the chooser seems to be in a world that is down in like an alternate reality, like a parallel universe. So from here down, I'm absorbed in this world as a separate being. I'm stuck in this world. I walk around and think I'm separated. But what if up here, we're all connected? So if people would stop looking down on themselves, figuratively and literally, if you'd stop looking down on yourself and instead up, you would realize, oh, good to see you all. See, I'm down here drowning, pop up into the divine self, and I go, oh, there you are. You know, it's really weird because when I go down here, you look all messed up, but up here, you look fine. Down here, I have all kinds of names for you. But when I pop up into the divine self, oh my God, I am as God created me, and so are you. Oh, so nice. Oh, I get it. You know, it's like fresh air. You popped out of drowning, and you can breathe again. Oh, it's good to see all of you. You know, wow, okay. Okay, take a deep breath because I'm going in again. Into the human stuff where I don't like you. Or there's the human stuff that's the false version of liking. Oh, mamacita, yeah, baby, you look great today. It's still a lie because I'm still thinking I see a human self. When you pop up here, you go, here I'm looking for my soulmate. Here, we're all each other's soulmates. We're all connected. Here I'm still looking for something. Here I'm whole, here I'm sick. Here I'm one, here I'm separate. And it is actually like that, where from here up, we're all okay. That's why things like teachings like A Course in Miracles are saying, it's none of the stuff you think is happening is happening. So here's where it gets really, really trippy. My consciousness, my true divine self, there's a spiritual me, a soul, and a human me. My spiritual I am presence, when we hear words like, it's all good, you know, part of the reading that was done today, for example, that it would have that concept of there's a goodness everywhere. But what does that mean? And some people don't understand it, so they make up humanized versions of what it means. But truly, it is, when I pop up here, everything is okay. Everything is fine. How do I know that? Because up here, I only see our divine self. Well, what do you do with the human self? Do you pretend it doesn't happen? What do you do? People get very conflicted. They get very into that paradoxical kind of vibe. But wait, there's another way. Instead, I realize that all this stuff down here is as though, picture a veil here separating, seemingly separating, the divine self and then all this human stuff that we go through, including the chooser, the soul that's trying to remember the divine, but it keeps getting pulled down into the human self. So picture it, because this is really how it works. There's a thin veil. So let's call the veil something made of cellophane. Now, or something, latex, that kind of thin, plasticky or whatever kind of film. Now, when my divine self wants to pretend that it forgets who it is, it sticks itself down, it dips down through this veil into the human self. But it never actually punctures it, because you can't ever go somewhere else. All you can do is stretch downward the spiritual self into this human experience. But when you do, it's like fingers in a glove. So when I press myself, when I want to believe that I'm separate from God, I press down and I look around. But when I look around, notice this. When the finger presses through, I don't mean punctures, when it presses through this elasticy vibe called separation, the veil of illusion, when we press through, look what happens. It follows my finger, right? It follows it. Now, if I am seemingly my finger, the center of my being, presses down, my finger is surrounded by that cellophane, which means it holds a Jewish saying, we never see things as they are, we see things as we are. I can only see through my cellophane. I can't leave God. I can try to go somewhere else, but God is still here with me. Now, if I'm that finger, the more I can remember when I'm getting all caught up in the cellophane, and when I'm looking at you and I'm seeing through this weird film, I can never see you really. I never see who you are. I'm seeing my eyes, it's opaque, it's obscured. There's something going on, right? And we think, well, this is pretty painful, but you know, everybody else is also a finger through the cellophane dealing with the same pain. The struggle of not remembering who they are. Because, you know, instead of going up into God consciousness, in and up, you're going down and out. So humans are constantly down and out. How you doing? Feeling a bit down and out. Everybody is. Because you're down, meaning down into the illusion, and outward, meaning you're trying to trust what you see. And we call those relationships. Listen, I'm down in the cellophane. I'm not up here anymore. I'm down in the cellophane. I can't see real well, but you seem likable. Will you marry me? You know, like people are looking through veils of illusion, sharing the same hurt, the same fears, and getting together. Because they think, you seem like you might help me with some of my ache, some of my hurt, some of my limits. They can't. They're also suffocating under that cellophane. It's not an accident that we're dealing with a pandemic and everybody's wearing masks. I mean, it's kind of ironic. How y'all doing? I'm doing fine. The masks are just becoming more obvious. Remember years and years ago, some of you 20 and 30 years ago, you remember me talking about masks. Everybody wears masks. Well, now they do. But they always have. When you thought you're a male or a female, you have a color, you have a race, you have a religion, these are all masks. I'm a mother, I'm not a mother. Those are all just false identities. We're divine beings up here. When you dip down, you put something on. So that you can relate to everybody else that has to put some false mask on. So what's going to happen is, more and more people will realize, stop looking out through the film, because that'll only lead you to being down and out. Instead, go in and up. And when I do this, any of us, when I go in and up, I access this part of my being. There's two directions, in and up. In means into the core of my being, and up into my divine self. But when I say go into yourself, that we're always connected to God. We can't be separate. You can't leave all. That's God is all that is. How can you be separate from all that is? So then people say, okay, well, if you can't be separate from all that is, then God must be all the tragedy and stuff that goes on in this world, because you can't be separate from God. So when we're having challenges, it must mean God is also part of the challenges. No, you're make-believing all of this. This is a dream. As indigenous people throughout the world said, you're the dreamer. dreaming a dream. Edgar Allan Poe, life is a dream within a dream. It's all a dream. We're dreaming that we're dreaming. And we call that life. And we try to make the best of it. But then all you'll ever do is keep reincarnating, hoping for a better dream, but it's still a dream. Keep going down and out, and all you can do is know the dream. Go in and up, and you awaken from the dream. And that said, to simplify it to its utmost, when we look in the world and we see bills we have trouble with, and we have aches and pains and challenging relations, stop, take it to God means 2 steps, in and up. But in has to happen. Humans try to go up, meaning I'm going to pray up to God. If you don't go in, you can't go up. Unless it's a false version of up. I'm praying to something up there. The real connection to God comes from going in and up. In because the part of me that's one with God is in the core of the finger that's trying to press through the cellophane. So even though I'm down in the world and I'm dealing with the cellophane and I don't see real clearly, my senses don't give me accurate perceptions of things. It can't, because it's a dream world. I'm looking through cellophane going, I like you. No, maybe I don't like you. You look like you're doing something nice. No, maybe you're not. Maybe you're doing something that looks violent or mean. I don't know, because I'm looking down and out. I'm looking down in this world and outward through cellophane. So instead, I'm going to pause, choose again, go into myself. What am I seeing, and what does that bring up in me? Tracking it. What is going on? And look inside. Not what you're doing. Wait. What that is feeling like inside of me. When I can look at what it's feeling like inside of me, I'm halfway home. This is why in the Gospel of Thomas, you don't know of most people, Gospel thought there was Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Gospel of Thomas is one of the lost books of the Bible. One of the Gospels that wasn't included in the Bible. They thought that the Gospel of Thomas was considered to be a bit too mystical. You don't want any of that in the Bible. Anyway, yeah, we will have none of that around here. Back to happy being shut. So the Gospel of Thomas, and it's a very cool mystical book, but the Gospel of Thomas, one of the things in there, Jesus, he's saying, to get back home, you have to go within. But instead of like, oh, beloveds, go within and you'll find oneness and joy. He says, no. He says, you're going to go within, and the first thing you're going to find is you're going to feel disturbed. When you go within, it doesn't go well. You're going to find the parts of you that keep trying to go out, called the ego. Behind the masks are really just annoying compared to the thing that makes you want to wear masks. Masks are just kind of distractions. It makes me think I'm a CEO, I'm a happy, healthy person, I'm prosperous, I'm a successful parent, or whatever labels we have. I'm a failure, I'm broke, whatever. Those are all labels. Those are not good. But really, what's really messed up is the part of us that wants to wear those. That's really messed up. So when you look within, Jesus says in the Gospel of Thomas, you will become disturbed. I thought, man, this is just great. You can tell this dude ain't like some sort of motivational speaker. Some conference room, the Hyatt. Welcome, everybody. I want to welcome you to this seminar, Enlightenment 101. The first thing we're going to do, the first day of our 2-day seminar, is we're going to become totally disturbed. Everybody's going to become miserable. You'll probably want to leap out the windows at the top of this Hyatt, hotel, because it's going to be that horrible. How many people are going to want to go to that? And if they do, they can't pass the word because they're gone, right? So how is that going to go over? Well, it doesn't. That's why there's not enough enlightened people in the world, because you have to go inside where you will find yourself disturbed. But you're only going to go and find yourself disturbed until you face the adversary. The great holy war, the jihad, which means the war against yourself. Now, that's not a war you fight. You don't go, okay, I'm listening to Michael here. I'm getting this, man. I got to start, suiting up and getting ready for that fight against my ego. Well, now you're making it a thing to fight. You will at first think, I've got to fight that. But eventually, just relax. Fight what? Well, that thing that keeps trying to make me... Okay, do you like it, this thing, distracting you? Making you judge yourself or others? Do you like this thing making you miserable? No, I don't. Then just don't listen to it. That's the fight. Not empowering the voice that says go down and out. There's people who like a book. They like an author. They like a teacher. They like a person. And they just have to find fault with it. And I'm aware of that sort of thing, not just in my life. I've seen it many times. I've seen a couple of authors. I won't name the book or the authors, but I name a couple of authors that had stellarly, powerfully successful books. No sooner are they out there and people are like, wow, somebody starts something. Oh, I heard, you know what I heard about them? I heard that book about that journey they went on never really even happened. And they start shaming and down. I just say to people, did you or did you not get something from the book? Well, I did, but I heard that. If you don't like the book, don't read it. If you do like the book, good. What did you get from it? Enjoy it. Let it change you. Let it be at that. Be careful not to keep the human pattern of falling in love and falling out of love. Falling in love with an author or with a musician or whatever. Be careful. The true master neither falls in love nor out of love, because falling is not the intention of a master. Rising in love. Just wow, nice job on that book. Wow, nice job on that song. I love that. So if you have an album and I love that album, you do another album and it's not my thing, it's just not my thing. I'm not going to stop listening to the first album because you didn't make me happy with the second one. When you get tempted to look at your partner and go, there's got to be something wrong with you by now. It's been 5 years, or 2 years, whatever your usual pattern would be. It's been 12 months now, so I'm sorry, but it's time. For Christmas, I'm going to make a list of things I don't like about you. That's the human condition, finding fault. My take would be, if you were asking advice as a counselor, let's say, to couples, is keep finding things to rise in love with. Things that would make you, I don't like this about you. See it differently. Find things that make you laugh and enjoy. Kind of like your own children. Their laughter is going to change, and they're adults now, but they were so cute when they used to laugh. You know what you can do? Try to hear that part of them that used to love laughing when they were 1 and 2, giggling like children. Try to hear it. It's still there. You're not capable of hearing it because you've layered with hardness and issues. Behind your partner's cuteness, beauty, whatever it was you dug when they were 20, is still there. Ask God how to help you see it. It's still there. It really is. Look carefully, and you'll see some of the same things. Whether it was excitement or spontaneity or look of some kind. That's still there. Look beyond the cellophane out here that tries to make you lose love, that tries to make you lose hope and lose faith. I don't blame you if ever you feel those particular conditions, because we as humans constantly go down and out. So we are feeling quite down and out. Common saying, isn't it? Down and out. What it means, down and out. In sacred sexuality, that's a term that I would commonly use with people. You're supposed to take all that excitation and energy, and instead of it being just about an external act, down and out with sensation, you turn it in and up. That's called in experience, inner experience, internal, blissful oneness kind of orgasm. How to experience love at new levels with yourself and others. Remember, we can never be separate from God. Remember this visual, even if it's kind of a playful, fun visual for you, that from here up, we're all encased in this light. Technically, it's also here. How and why? As long as I'm not going down and out, I still have a chance of awakening. Down and out doesn't mean bad, because remember, that which was God in me, all it did was push downward through cellophane. I never lost me. The only way I can seem to lose me is that I push downward and try to look out. But I still am here. The heart is still the arm, which is still the hand, which is still the finger, which is still pressing through an illusion. It's a veil. We're not bad in any way, shape, or form for trying this. It can't be successful. So why keep doing it? Spiritual awakening doesn't mean you now don't like anything here. You suddenly are not going to participate in the world. I'm going to abstain from everything in this world. That's not what enlightenment means. Enlightenment means that still part of me presses down through the veil. The part of me that used to look for solutions out here, simply look, that's all we do is this. We relax and go a little more here. But wait. Stop trying to press through the cellophane and own. The finger is still here. The cellophane's still around me. I can see it. How do I know that I'm still seeing through cellophane? Because I'm still seeing separate people. You're really nice and you're not so nice, and you're really handsome and you're really not so handsome. You're pretty, you're fat, you're skinny, that's cellophane. That's just cellophane. When I take myself out of the looking out into myself and upward and get up here, oh my God, you are all gorgeous. And you're me. I'm so gorgeous because it's pure light. God is, I am, we are. So beautiful. So think about the time and energy you'll save by not trying to press outward, not only down, but out into the world. Through cellophane, you're looking for people and jobs and solutions, politicians. It's not going to work. It can't work because no matter where you go, once you've pressed down and out, you're still looking through cellophane. It's still not there. It's an illusion. The very veil that I said was there, that veil is our attempt to separate, a veil between this and that. But there is no that. There's only God. So what I do is I go down through the veil, pressing down and then out to try to make up something else, some other world. And as long as I can get this corroborated, because I push down and out means there's other people also pushing down and out through their cellophane, their veil. So now there's one over here that's science, and it's proving to me that what I'm feeling is right. You know, I'm feeling kind of down and out, and I'm feeling sick. Well, there's a pill you can take because of that sickness. Wait a minute. Who are you? I'm another person terrified, and I have just your solution. But how can you have my solution when you're just as messed up as I am? Shh, don't tell anybody. And I'll give you a discount on the thing I was going to sell you. All these crazy beings, crazy meaning that we want to know what life is like without bliss. And we press through and we start having conversations. And the one, if I'm the pinky finger, if I'm the pinky finger pushing through and I find next to me another person, look how convenient they are. These over here they're too far away. Relationship convenience. Ring finger. Relationship. Hey, will you marry me? Because I don't want to be a pinky forever. Yes, I'll marry you because it's convenient. And medicines that are convenient and scientific discoveries that are convenient. They're convenient because they're not asking you to go in and up. They're asking you we'll play along with you if you'll play along with us. Let's all lie to each other. And that's called politics. If you vote for me, that's the middle finger. No. Jeez. Anyway, if you vote for me, here's what I can do for you. Oh, I'm in, I'm there. They can't. Not only can they not because they can't see life clearly, they're terrified, like everybody else. But what they're telling you is, if you vote for me, I'm hoping I won't be so terrified. Because you'll make me feel some sort of substance of value. Hey, that doesn't feel too bad for a day. Like any other drug. You voted for me, I feel great. But at some point, I'm going to realize I'm more miserable than when I started. Okay? Maybe that's one reason presidents age so prematurely. It's, the stress and the letdown. It's not what I thought it was. So instead, we can still say, I'm kind of scared. Just the honesty is part of going in. You don't even have to go up yet. Mr. Politician, sweetheart, partner, hey, kids, in tactful ways. I'm not saying you tell your children, hey, guys, just want you to know I'm terrified. Life on earth is terrifying. I don't know what I'm going to do, how to deal with it. No, I don't think it's appropriate. But what is appropriate is the best level of honesty you can reach, which is, your own knowing in yourself. I'm scared. I thought I was kind of hoping I would have things figured out. I remember high school came to an end, and there was a little bit of a party, high school, like a, graduation party. One feeling I remember from graduation is terror. I had no idea what I was going to do. I knew what was familiar, but now that's going to change. And so you could be married, it can be unhappy but familiar. At some point it's going to change and you're afraid of that, so you'll stay married even if you're miserable. In the same job, even if you're miserable, because it's familiar somewhat. That's the fingers pressing through, having cellophane wrapped around them, suffocating in cellophane, and still, at least I know there's other beings around me. I can't see them clearly, but at least I know they're there. So we're all miserable together. And that's what people call life on earth. Those who wake up, as I'm coming towards a close now, those who wake up, it's not some dramatic, mystical explosion of some kind. It starts with just honesty. God, wow. I can see it. We're all looking through senses to tell us who we are. If people like me, then they applaud. If I, Michael, am doing a talk, and they applaud, oh, that was an 8 on the Richter scale of applause. I guess I'm valuable. I've never asked for applause in a talk, ever. Ever. And in fact, I end talks typically with going into a meditation for the reason of integrating the talk, but also so they don't applaud. Just make them close their eyes. Now they won't. They don't usually go, oh, that was amazing. They close their eyes, and where are they going? In and up. Truly. Because the talk is not supposed to be about the speaker. What was I talking about? So let me tell you a story about how amazing I am. Then you can applaud because I'm telling you how amazing I am. So you should applaud at my amazing qualities. But that's not what we're supposed to be doing in spiritual centers. We're supposed to simply be a vessel telling ourselves and each other about this amazing God presence. And yeah, if you want to applaud, but it's about your awakening, not the person speaking. Because that kind of negates it and puts it on a person. You're supposed to be owning it. You're supposed to be going, whoa, I got it. And if you're not doing that, and I need applause, then I really didn't do what I'm supposed to be doing anyway, which is unworthy of applause. So, in and up. In and up. How do we do this and what do we do with it? In and up. I've never lost connection. See it sort of like a V. All this grand God presence, by the time I get to the point of the V, just pressing in a bit into my human self. But do I want that tip of the V to look around and tell me what everything's about? It only has this much perspective. I want this part to tell me what life's about. Now, what do I do? Where do I negate? At what level and height do I negate the finger, the cellophane, the tip of the V? Where do I cut that off? You don't. You simply say, even to the very tip of my life, to day-to-day eating, washing dishes, changing diapers, the very day-to-day stuff, I still want to do this from this state of mind. Not an either or. How to bring this presence to the moment. By saying, here I am, I become. It's this reciprocal energy. Most people, and this is what's beautiful, live as though they're separate from God, but you can't be. You're just down and focusing outward. I don't care who you are, Hitler or whomever. You're never completely separate. You're only separate in perspective, perception, because you're looking down and out. And you tried to control races, you tried to take over countries, and it didn't give you what you wanted. But the more you went down and out, the more you became consumptuous to the down and out, and it became your addiction. Then you go inside and upwards, and you realize, I had it all the time. So many people I've worked with that were so far gone in that down and out direction, and they have been honest enough to say, I can't change directions now. Churches, nonprofit organizations, spiritual organizations. Michael, what can we do to change the situation we have in our organization? Well, you're very focused on the outside. You're focused on so much on the doing. The organization. What direction are you guys going? Well, we're going in the direction of A, B, and C. Why? Because our donors told us to. So the down and out, those who gave you the most money decided the direction of your spiritual organization, right? That's right. Cut them all off. What? Michael, never mind. You're not good at this, are you? This advice thing. You're telling us the opposite. We want more of them. No, you don't. See, but they're addicted. The nonprofit, they get checks from people, and it becomes an addiction. That's the only way we survive, down and out. Something outside gives us our reality. And I've told these kinds of organizations, stop and risk it. Say to all those that seem to be tethering to your veiled cellophane self, say to all of them, cords are being cut today. As of today, all of you are gone. And we're broke. Even if you're $1 million, you own $1 million, have $1 million. From starting at this moment, everything's done. We're going to start over. Any of you that would like to join us in a place of integrity, we're going to let light guide us instead of your pocketbook. We would appreciate your checks, but when you write them, they're unconditional. You will not write a check and tell us, as long as this person's your board president, as long as you take this direction. You see what I'm saying there? It's all addiction. Same with your partners. As long as you still allow my, addictions in the household. Well, but honey, I don't, the kids don't. No. This is our agreement. We were both into this when we got together, and we're going to keep it that way. And one of you wants to make changes. Don't make it a choice. Don't make it like there's two options. Hold to yourself, and only that's true for you. Even if it means an ending. I decided here's what I'm about now. I decided here's what this organization is about now. Okay? That's what I am. God is, I am, we are. If it doesn't suit you, if it doesn't fit your scheme of things, if it's not in your airspace to go that direction, you know what you should do? Have your own. Do your thing. Please, by all means. I support you to do that. And I don't care if you're a multi-billion-dollar football team. You have somebody that's beating up his girlfriend or his wife, fire him. But we're going to go to the Super Bowl as long as that person's on our team. I'd rather not go to the Super Bowl than to go under those conditions. That's not how humans think. But somebody's got to do it differently, or nobody will learn a different way. Don't be settling for the least worst candidate. Don't be settling in anything. Don't marry. Well, I married the least annoying person. of the options I had before me. Don't settle for anything. Goodness, goodness, goodness. Choose goodness. Be goodness. Bring about goodness. Demonstrate to people this or nothing instead of this or something else. I don't have any choices. There's only one, the light of God. Please take a few centering breaths. A few centering breaths. Good. We breathe, we relax, we feel, we know. Silence. Be still and know I am God. So much we could be thinking about through the cellophane, down and out, the veils, the illusions. But wait. Be still and know the I am presence of God. Be still means go within, and know the I am presence means to go upward. Be still and know the I am presence of God. So simply draw yourself quietly inside. All the stuff of the world, all the stuff of your life, all of that outside, just simply choose. Say no. All I really want is the connection with God, and that gives me all things. Be still, go within, and in that place I know God. Repeat that quietly to yourself a few times. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, quietly going inside. Once we visualize drawing inside, imagine a light beaming from the heavens right through our crown, through every center, every organ, every gland, down to our root center, down to our feet, down to the center of the earth. Light was invited in because we said, be still to our ego selves. That automatically allows what was already there to be seen and experienced, called in. Be still and know the I am the light of God. It beams down through every particle of our being and we become ignited. This is the smile of God upon us. The I am presence of God. How nice. How natural, how organic is this? Oh. I am the light of God. I will to be the Christ on earth. I am the light of God. Now, all I need to do is keep knowing and living this. Just be this presence. When challenges come, say, I will that there be light. And know that the light means the light of God. I will that there be light. I must be pushing down and out for answers. I must be pushing down and out to blame or to credit. Let me go in and up to the light of God. From the neck up, the upper three chakras is the I am presence of God. From the neck up, we're all connected. Let me live, let me practice and live this knowing, this presence. Everything is okay at this level. And all attempts of myself or others to push down and out, that's the stuff we say we need to forgive. But since it was nothing but an attempt to go down and out, when I forgive, I'm actually forgiving something that isn't really there, nor does it have real power. Instead, let's focus on going home instead of on what to fix so that we can go home. The I am presence of God. A few more breaths with that knowingness, that gratitude, that I'm centering into God. A few more breaths of that before gradually stretching out. Let all the muscles, the joints, the bones, the mind, let it unwind. Let it unwind. No need to hold. And so it is.
So it is.
And we take all of this love from around the world and throughout this room. We choose to anchor this love light here, this sanctuary that will hold that name, sanctuary. This is a safe, holy space, sanctified, sacred. We can come to this place to relax on a hammock, to cry, to heal. We can come to this place to listen to the little fountain outside and have tranquility. We can come here to pray, to be prayed for. Holiness, holiness, holiness. And all is about love. And in this moment, Father, Mother, God, we ask that we know that this is real, true, and inseparable. This is never ending. What we've just established and anchored here, what our chaplains anchored in as a blessing of the property this morning, all the work that's gone into this place, creation, creativity, beautiful essence expression of co-creating a holy space with you. We give thanks in advance that this is permanent and that it's perfect. The light of God surrounds us.
We are the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
The presence of God watches over us.
We are the presence of God.
Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is. God bless you all. We'll see you soon.